Fraternal greetings. My name is Dakim X. I am the Provisional Secretary General of the New African Communist Party. The New African Communist Party was founded on January 1st, 2015 in commemoration of the Cuban Revolution, the first free territory of the Americas, and Haitian independence, which tolled the death knell of black slavery in the Americas. The RNA is the captive black nation in the United States. The Communist Party of the Republic of New Africa declares, in accord with the promulgation of the 1968 Declaration of Independence by our forefathers and mothers, the sovereignty of the new African people. The core territory of the new African people shall be the 5 former slave states of the Deep South, including Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama, and South Carolina. We demand this territory as reparations for the historical and contemporaneous crimes of slavery, the slave trade, torture, and genocide. Whereas the repression of slavery, torture, and genocide continues throughout the U.S., we declare the right of any conscious citizen of the Republic of New Africa to declare any territory within U.S. territorial claims to be liberated territory and the rightful possession of the people of the Republic of New Africa. As Provisional Secretary General of the New African Communist Party, I now issue this decree as Special Field Order Number 1, Free the Land. Based on omnipresent facts, we conclude that the slave system in the U.S. was never abolished but continued with modifications in property relations. In 1865, President Abraham Lincoln and his political cohorts decided to end chattel or private slavery and continue state or public slavery. In furtherance of their claims, Lincoln and his cohorts modified the Northwest Ordinance of 1787, which the Northwest Ordinance of 1787 permitted certain states to retain their slaves after independence from England and others to end private ownership of slaves. The primary and secondary caveat was that slavery was permitted in all the states as a punishment for crime, and any slave escaping into a free state would be legally returned under the infamous Fugitive Slave Clause. Under the newly modified 13th Amendment, slavery was retained as a public institution as a punishment for any criminal offense. It is this clause that made possible the rise of the American feudal system, commonly known as sharecropping. Sharecropping became possible only through the passage of the 13th Amendment. The 13th Amendment put in place the processes, the black laws, the contract system, which, if violated, would make you a prisoner and therefore a slave of the state. So slavery was predetermined as a matter of the supreme law of the land, the Constitution, the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, as long as the person was duly convicted, and they always were, So sharecropping, or American feudalism, a caste and race system which continued through the entire area after chattel slavery was changed into state slavery, uh, basically continued as a system of repression and continues to this day in the form of mass incarceration. Mass incarceration is slavery. The only thing that justifies the continuation of a massive system of well over 4 million human beings enslaved by the state as a prison slave industrial complex. And I emphasize slave because there is no way to understand the PIC without understanding the slave and the role of the slave in the entire system. And it's necessary because of the way in which the capitalist order has always functioned. So we have to understand this as a part of the capitalist order and maximizing profits. Torture is actually one of the conditions of slavery. The reason why you torture slaves is because you're forcing that slave to engage in forced labor, labor over and above what anyone else would be expected. So that slave has to be broken down and made to obey any direct order and never sway from that and do only what they are told. And so this is to basically inculcate the slave mentality. Capitalism requires a massive reserve army of the poor, unemployed, and criminalized. This is the case to maximize profit, decrease wages, maintain worker competition, and foster and engender racism and cultural divisions among the diverse populations throughout the United States. We fight the Yankee slave state because the Yankee slave state enslaves the people. We call for an end to 21st century slavery and torture. We call the people to free the land and free the slaves. All power to the people. Long live the new African Communist Party. Homeland, communism, or death.